Members that if they are out of their designated place, it is grossly disorderly to interject, and the debate will continue in silence. I call the member for Braddon.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I don't want my first speech on matters of public importance to be negative. But what positives could I possibly say to the Australian people that would make them feel proud of their Prime Minister and their government? I, along with so many other Australians, were genuinely heartened that when the member for Wentworth became Prime Minister, we would see something different. When given the opportunity yesterday for government MPs and the Prime Minister to outline his achievements of the last 12 months to the Australian people, there was only one: the Prime Minister's defence of the behaviour of the big banks that are ripping the heart out of vulnerable Australians. Over that side, they are divided, there is no unity and there is no leadership. As a nation, I know from my electorate of Braddon and home state of Tasmania, it has been a year full of disappointment. As of about April this year, there are at least 17 backflips that this Prime Minister had committed in 7 months. I have lost count from that point on how many more there have been. On issues that the Prime Minister once passionately believed in, he now either has no time for, or he's simply far too consumed with appeasing the far-right wing in order to maintain his leadership. On marriage equality, the Prime Minister is on record supporting a free vote in the party room, but he is unable to stand up to the right wing and show leadership. Instead, the Prime Minister wants to subject our nation to a divisive plebiscite. On the Republic, the Prime Minister was a chief cheerleader, but now he says it is not time. And on climate change, he previously supported carbon emissions trading schemes. The Prime Minister has again spectacularly backflipped. But the Prime Minister's backflips don't just stay with social policy. On economic policy, the backflips are equally spectacular. At one stage, the Prime Minister's economic plan consisted of an idea to raise the GST to 15%, but then he ditched it. A plan for double taxation, a 48-hour backflip. I guess the achievement here is that it took the Prime Minister 2 days to realise it was a dumb idea. It would have resulted in higher taxes paid by Tasmanians to be able to afford health and education funding that he wanted to walk away from, which would have resulted in negative economic growth, negative population growth, leaving Tasmania a basket case. Was this his plan for Tasmania? Little wonder the community has no idea what he stands for. It has been clear since day one of the Prime Minister assuming the leadership of the Liberal Party, he's being led by his own far right-wing fringe. Which tail is wagging the dog? In my home state of Tasmania and electorate of Braddon, the sense of disappointment at its strongest. This is born out of the result of the recent election. Tasmania's overwhelmingly rejected the Prime Minister and the policies he stood for. The Liberal Party recorded the lowest two-party preferred vote in any state in the nation in Tasmania. Despite the Prime Minister saying he has learnt the lessons from the election, nothing has changed. I can't even get one of the 4 Liberal senators to come to my electorate. They don't want to. They are giving up on regional Tasmania. He's still cutting Medicare. He's still cutting millions of bulk billing incentives for pathology services. He does not want to invest in Gonski. And the NBN. There has been 3 iterations of the NBN for the west coast of Tasmania, and still no one knows what is going on. For Tasmania, the Prime Minister's priorities just don't cut it. Since the member for Wentworth became Prime Minister, 5,200 jobs have been lost in Tasmania. The participation rate in Tasmania is plummeting to just 59.3%. The government's claims of jobs and growth do not stack up in Tasmania. 14 jobs a day are being lost in Tasmania under the Prime Minister's watch. At a time Tasmania desperately needs leadership when it comes to tackling jobs crisis, the Prime Minister has not shown any.